Salute. Peace Queen. Shout out to the chat.
Salute.
I
Shout out
am
to the chat.
Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises.
I'm Stephanie from Dope Soul Sports Talk and the Queen's Court.
And this is the crossover.
Yes, it is.
Slow news week, right? So, trying to figure out what to talk about. And we're gonna do New York point guards, New York Knicks point guards, and where they rank and where Brunson ranks amongst them. As Queen pointed out on paper. We haven't seen him play for the Knicks yet, so this is really
Right.
based off of projections and what he's done in the past. But yeah, we'll get right into it. I think for sure there's a consensus as the best point guard in Knicks history, and even though I didn't get to see much of him, mostly video or only video, I should say. I think the consensus would definitely have to be Clyde Frazier.
Yeah.
I don't know if if there's somebody who could argue there was a better point guard. Um, Definitely, I would have to. If someone was to argue that, they would have to be old enough to have seen him play live. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
on TV.
Right.
For me to even consider their opinion and make it valid. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think you agree. Well, Clyde
Yeah.
Frazier, number
Absolutely.
one.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and then
And he won the chip. So even if he didn't, even if his stats weren't great, he won
both
two
of
of
them.
them. Correct. Correct. Even if his stats weren't that great, you're the starting point guard on the championship team. In order for somebody who didn't win a championship to be considered number one, that player would have had to have been off the chains.
And it's funny. I'm not even sure what his stats are like
But they
career
were good. They were
wise,
legit.
but I know his game stats for
Hmm.
those finals
Hmm.
and those clutch performances were. I mean, I don't know if they were duplicated since, and I mean in the league, not necessarily from the Knicks perspective, but in the league,
Hmm.
34 points and 16 assists, numbers like that pop
Hmm.
out, and everybody knows his calling card or his main, like his best stat was probably his defense. So yeah, I don't know if you could surpass that, but I don't know. Were you looking up his stats, his season stats
No,
or
I
career
was
stats?
telling
Oh
somebody was asking, can they call in? And I was just saying, we'll drop the link in a few. Just try to get it started first.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But I'll look them up as well.
Um, and when we go to number two, I think from after one, it could be like you might have some different people, I might have some different people, the chat
Hmm.
might have some different people as well. And if y'all following along, go ahead and throw your names out there as we go through them. We did one. I think the consensus is Clyde. If you have a choice for the second best point guard in Knicks history, just put their name in and put a number two
Hmm.
in there so we know where you stand. And like Queen said,
You,
we're gonna put the link out in a minute, and you guys could jump in the chat panel.
yeah, I'm gonna put out Walt Frazier's career stats before we
Mm-hmm.
move on to the next one. For his career, 18.9 or basically 19 points a game, 6 assists, shot 78.6% from the free throw line, shot 49% field goal percentage. Wow. It's just there's no 3 pointers. Matter of fact, in 1979, 1980, it has 0.3 3-point attempts. That was his last season in the league. That's
Well,
when he
when
played for
when
Cleveland.
was the 3-point shot implemented?
It had to be then, 79, 80,
79,
because
80.
there's no stats for any other year.
Okay, so that make I mean can't really be mad at it, especially if you grew up where
Right.
this line did not exist.
Right.
It might have been one frowned upon immediately, or and not saying from everyone, but certain
Right.
players like, oh, you see what I've done in my career without that. I don't need that. And
Right.
you say that's his last year. Yeah, I'm not trying something new in my last year.
Right.
So
Right. And I forgot to mention 6 rebounds. So 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 18.9 points for his career.
mm,
That's impressive.
mm,
Especially his first year, he only averaged 9 points a game.
okay,
And his
okay,
last year, 3.3 points.
mm.
So and still wind up with a
Hey,
19
yeah, yeah,
point average.
that's sick. Definitely Clyde number one. Shout out to the chat as always. Appreciate you guys joining in. For me, my number two has to be Stephon Marbury. Um, Granted, didn't get that elusive championship ring. Had a bunch of turmoil. Big part of the Knicks and bruises throughout the years. He stamped his mark there as well. With the turmoil, but as a player and numbers and just, I mean, how he influenced me as a player and
Mhm.
coming out of the city, you know, I gotta put Stephon Marbury as my number two, second best, and even though he didn't get far as playoffs and accolades of that, the numbers stand the test of time. The numbers are honestly all time best, if I'm not mistaken. I remember, and I may be wrong. I'm not looking anything up. If you want to look them up, you can. But I mean to fact check. But I remember somewhere close to 25-5 for his career, and this is throughout the turmoil, throughout the bad times.
Actually,
So
it's 19.
19.
19 points, 8 assists. He played for New York just 5 seasons. Seemed longer than that. Um,
It always does.
yeah. I just want to see.
And that's his Knicks stats or career stats?
Nick. No, that's career.
Okay.
That's his
Wow.
career stats. Yeah, that's his career stats. Let me see if they have the so 5 season with the Knicks. I like the way they have it broken down, career and by team. With the Knicks, he averaged 18.2 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 79% from the free throw line, shot 44% from the field, and not a good 3-point shooter, 30, 32. Excuse me. With the Knicks, he shot 35%, which is not bad. 35, 35%. And yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Here's where it
Well,
gets
well.
tricky too.
So the reason I wanted to see how many seasons
Hmm.
is because I like Mark Jackson too. Um, and I wanted to see how many seasons that Mark Jackson played in New York.
It might have been less.
5.
I was I was gonna
It's
say it
about
might
the
have been
same.
five or
Yeah,
less.
yeah. But at that, oh, no, actually, oh, he came back to New York. They
Yes.
have 7. So
Okay.
because he came back to New York for for two seasons.
And I'm not mad if you're putting him as your number two.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think it's
I'm
closer
definitely
than
not
people
mad.
would think. I put it that way. I think it's closer than people would think. I mean, for a career, it's 10 points, 8 rebounds. But when I look at his first 5 years, his rookie season, 13 points, 10 rebounds.
Mm.
Second season, 17 points, 8.6 assists. I meant assists. Um, 10 points, 7.4 assists, 9.6 assists, 11.
Listen,
But he wasn't the scorer. He was not the scorer that Stephon Marbury was. But in terms of playmaking and passing and what have you, Mm,
I'm gonna give you a caveat. I'm not mad at that pick at all because of impact. The impact he had on the team. You
right.
know, the success the team had. Granted, no championship, obviously. You know, but the impact and the success of the team. I'm not mad at you putting him at number
I
two.
don't even know if I would. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
oh, 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 oh! I thought
I
you was
just
giving
when you
your
were
number
talking
two.
about Marbury, I thought about Mark Jackson, and I think it's close.
Yeah,
I think it's close.
he's my number three. So,
He's your number
uh,
three. Okay,
so
all right. I'm
so
not. If I wanted to put him two, I'm not that far off.
yeah, if you got him too, I ain't even mad at that because you know he had impact on success and kind of handled. You know, the thing with Marbury was all the off the court things. You know what I mean? Like on the court, I think he was phenomenal. Off the
Mhm.
court, you know, if that brings his ranking down for some, I
Mhm.
can't argue against it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And Mark Jackson was the opposite as far as on the court and off the court, especially as a player. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He was up there.
Right.
So
Kerry Cox want to know what's the question. We're ranking New York City point guards in light of the documentary, Kevin Durant's documentary that came out recently, and we're asking ourselves where would Brunson fit. I added on paper because he hasn't played a game yet. We can revisit this in the next offseason. Where does Brunson fit in terms of New York City point guard? So that's
or
the question.
New York Knicks point
New York
guard.
Knicks, sorry, New
Yeah,
York
yeah,
Knicks.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because then we got to get into Kenny Anderson, right?
Yeah,
If we assume
absolutely.
he
Then
starts,
you
right,
know Rod Strickland. You
right.
know
Mark Strickler played for the Knicks too, but not that long.
he's on my.
He's on the list, right? But yeah,
Excuse me, he's on my list as well. Um,
mhm.
so are you rocking with Jackson as your two, or and I
Mm,
know I just
yeah, yeah. I
spurned
didn't
this
get a
on
chance
you.
to
You know what I
look
mean?
over the list.
I didn't really research anything as well, so I'm going off the
Right,
top
right,
of the
right,
dome
right,
as well. Um, I just had maybe about an hour to kind of think about it.
right, right, right,
So
right, 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 right. Um, yeah, I don't have a problem with putting Mark Jackson at two, but I don't have a problem. Oh, Michael Ray. I'm not putting Jason Kidd before Mark Jackson. Nah, nah. I'm talking about what he did for the Knicks. I'm not talking about when, at least for me, I'm not
yes,
talking about their entire career. No doubt, you put Jason Kidd's career up against Mark Jackson's career. I'm talking about their time in New York. So, Kidd played what, 1 or 2 seasons? Mark Jackson played 5.
yeah, yeah, and it sucks because again, if somebody is going to argue Jason Kidd over Marbury
Nah.
and base it on impact or winning and you know what I mean, that kind of changes some things
It does.
a little bit.
It does.
But I got a funny story because like I said, I grew up in the city, big Stephon Marbury fan. You know, watched him play in high school, watched him play throughout his career, and I used to have a argument with my friend over who's better between Jason Kidd and Stephon Marbury. And I always, you know, what I mean, I always would rock with Stephon Marbury.
Oh wow.
But as the career, I mean, this is like from the begin, from rookie year on. You know what I mean? But as the careers went on, it got harder and harder because
Mhm.
of Jason Kidd's success. You know what I mean? And just like game for game, I think it was a good argument. Like I
Right.
had some fair points on
Right.
what Marbury was able to do, what Jason Kidd was not. You know, he wasn't a shooter, which Marbury was. He wasn't an athlete, which
Mhm.
Marbury was. You know what I mean? Like the only thing I gave Kidd over him at the time was his playmaking, his passing ability, which was by far like best in the league and all time great.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it was just crazy how I had this argument for years and years and years. And even though I knew I was wrong at one point, I was still you know stick with Marbury. Definitely. Then when Marbury came to the Knicks, I was like, oh, now he about to show everybody what I
Right,
was talking about. This, and
right,
that. And
right,
here, Jason Kidd going to the finals and Eastern Conference Finals 3-4 years in a row. Knicks Nets rivalry. It just was it was part of my Knicks and
right,
bruises growing up.
right,
But
right.
yeah, I never stopped admiring him as a player, and I think he's underrated and undervalued as far as his time in the NBA period.
Marbury?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. But I think there's a couple of players like like horse racing. They're in a dead heat for a while, and then a player pulls away. I remember when people used to talk about Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins,
Mm.
and then Michael Jordan just just pulled away, and it wasn't even close.
And to make it worse, I had the same argument about Chris Paul and Darren Williams, and here I was thinking I learned from the Marbury situation, and I
Mhm.
was saying, I went with Darren Williams, but that didn't last long.
I like Darren Williams too. Over who? Who was it? Darren Williams and.
The point guard, Chris Paul. You
But
know,
I can see probably at the time you was arguing it, it probably was close.
it was, but the way the way Chris Paul just pulled away,
Yeah.
it was like it was so reminiscent of the Marbury, Jason Kidd debate that I used to have. I'm like
Mhm.
I'm not even ranking point guards no more. You know what I mean? Because I seem to get it wrong, over time. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done, I tend to be wrong.
Right.
So I
I
can
saw
admit that.
Michael Ray a little, just a little. I didn't see him a lot. That's when I first started watching the Knicks. So I didn't really get to see Michael Ray Richardson a lot. Let me
And
pull up these
I'll
stats.
be honest, I didn't get to see him um much, so I don't remember. I remember the name. I could point him out in the picture, but I don't remember watching him or seeing video of him.
And for the Knicks, he played just 4 seasons.
Mm.
Just 4 seasons for the Knicks. You mind?
No, not at all.
Okay. 14 points, 7 assists, 2.6 steals a game. That is impressive. And 6 rebounds. So
Mm,
6, I love rebounding guards. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 14 points in 4 season
mm,
um, with the Knicks. Wasn't a great free throw shooter. Shot 66% for the Knicks. 3-point shooter, not great, 22%. Field
mm.
goal percentage, 46%. Um, but
You guys are gonna make me go look up some tape.
yeah, no, Michael Ray was good, but it was just 4 seasons. So I think what can change things is the number of seasons a player played for the Knicks. That might change things a little bit. And then also whether you value points over impact. And they're not mutually exclusive because you can have both points and impact.
Well, I think if you can pick who you want, right? As as long as you articulate your
Right.
reason, and we're not here to argue about who's
Right, right,
who's
right,
ranked.
right, right.
Anyway, I mean, in general, everybody's list could be totally different. Like you can have your list, I can
Mhm.
have my list, and
Right.
you know what I mean. That's kind of what it's about. Maybe in the future, once Brunson uh does get this full season in or a couple seasons in, we could kind of really break it down and do like impact and
Mhm.
everything and kind of come up with a system. But
Mhm.
this is just to get us by in a slow news week. But I'm definitely gonna look into Michael Ray and see what I could figure out there.
He
I'm,
was
I'm
I
I'm
mean, just
seeing a
looking
lot
at
of Magic Johnson
6.7 cents.
comparisons when
Right.
you know
And he could defend as well. He could
yeah, we
defend as well.
Dirty Dancing. We already had Clyde as number one. Like that's consensus. I think that's the only thing that we can have an argument about if somebody's list is different and they say Clyde is
Right,
not number one.
right, right, right.
Um, That's a fact. So you say you going with who's your number two again? I
It's
you
between
said Mark
Stephon
Jackson.
and Mark. Either I
All right.
could go either way.
So let's say consensus 1, 2, 3 right there,
Right, right,
and then
right.
whichever order, and I'll let you lead with four.
I don't even know who's in the pool. I know Rod Strickland played a few seasons. Um, Charlie Ward, I would have ranked down. Further down.
He's probably in my top 10,
But
and
the
that's
Knicks probably only had no, the Knicks had a lot. But if you put
he's in my
at
top
least
10 based off consistency. You know what I mean? Like
right, right. But is there a like? Can you rank somebody who's only played like 1, 2 seasons? Is there
sure.
like a
I mean,
oh, okay?
yeah. I mean, if you feel if he played one season, but you feel like the impact was there,
Hmm.
the you know what I mean, the stats was there, the you know what I mean, like as long as you could articulate it, I don't have a problem with it. And like I said, everybody's list is going to
It's
be
gonna be different. Well,
different.
yeah, I'm gonna look at Jay Boogie's list because at least he put 10 of them, so at least it could jog my memory
Mm.
of who I might. Oh, what did I
Oh,
just
my bad. I'm
do?
so sorry. Go back.
Oh, okay. Ooh, Clyde, Raymond Felton, Jason Kidd, Rory Sparrow.
Mm.
Wow, that is a blast from the past. I think I would four for me would be Michael Ray
Michael, right?
Richardson. I saw a little bit of him when I first started watching the Knicks. Yeah. See he came into the league at 78, 79. So I probably saw his last season with the Knicks, 81, 82. And then he played 4 seasons with New Jersey as well. So four for me would probably be Michael Ray Richardson. Um, Let me see how many seasons Rod Strickland played. I loved Rod Strickland when he was.
Oh my goodness.
I loved
I
him.
got a story about him too, but I ain't going. I'll tell you off air.
Rod Strickland only played one. He played 1 season with the Knicks, then Toronto, and then came back to the Knicks for 1 season. Oh no, that was the same season. They just broke it up. So he played 1.5 seasons with the Knicks. Well,
Yeah,
anyway, that's you said who's my number four. My number four would be Michael Ray.
Michael Ray.
Yeah.
And I'm a just to keep it moving. I'm gonna go with Michael Ray with you, just based off of the chat's
Mhm.
input and
Mhm.
and you actually seeing them and putting them there.
Earl of Pearl. Earl of Pearl was a point guard, but I think when he came to the Knicks, I think he played the two.
I think so
He
too.
played the off
I
guard.
think so too. Otherwise, he's going up. He's got it's one
He's
two.
two. He's
That's
two.
1-2 right there. Oh, and the comment I threw out there. Oh, who was it? Clutch Basketball TV. He
Okay,
just
put it
said,
up. I'm sorry, put it up.
no. He was saying, what about Frank De La Kita? I just put it up there.
Oh my God.
With a laughing emoji. He put the laughing emoji.
Right,
It
right.
was a joke. I thought it was funny though. So we're gonna go to five, and I'll lead off, and I'm going with Rod Strickland, and for me, I know he only played a year and a half, but again, it's similar to Marbury, impact off the court as well. You know what I mean? Like he was one of those guys that was accessible. Like
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
might bump into him outside, and he'll have a conversation with you and talk to you, and if you ask him about basketball, he'll give you advice on that. So like there's a part of me that wants to put him in the top three because like I've had interactions with him, and you know what I mean, and that boy was nasty on the court, small, slim, but it didn't affect him. Like he was a hard man to guard, and I wish he would have been a Knick longer,
Right.
there's no telling
Right.
how that would have transpired
I
and
mean,
the
his
impact
stats
that would have
weren't
had.
great with the Knicks, though.
That is true.
I mean, 8.7 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. But if you watched him play, you would have thought that the stats was much more than that, for sure. Definitely.
I think it would. I mean, if somebody wants to argue that he didn't play enough time, I understand it because I agree with that. I think he would have panned out had they
Styles. Yeah.
had they gave him a shot and not moved on from him.
Yeah, I agree, Kerry Cox. If you count Strickland, you got to count Felton. And as a matter of fact, Felton is next on my list. Like if we're only going with guys who played one season, a cup of tea, then if we putting them in there, you got to put in Strickland, you got to put in J Kidd as well.
Yeah,
If
the,
we're going by one or two seasons, right?
that is a fact. I'm still
I keep
mad.
going back to this because it reminds it reminds me of um Rory Sparrow.
You amended his list.
No, no, that's
Was
the same
the
one.
same list?
But I keep bringing it up
I didn't
because
pick
it
Derrick
helps me
Rose.
see who's
Mm.
available. Um,
So maybe I gotta move Strickland down.
Rory played four. Let me see, 4.5 years for the Knicks. 10 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 steal.
And you said he got there in '78.
No, no, no. That was Michael Ray Richardson. Rory Sparrow came in 82, 83, right when I began watching the Knicks. So yeah, yeah. Rory, yeah. So yeah, yeah.
See,
I might put Rory Sparrow ahead of Felton. 9.6, 10.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steal. I mean, excuse me, 2 rebounds. Shot 81% from the free throw line, 46% from the field, and his 3-point percentage. I guess I'm not going to hold it against them because nobody seemed back then to have shot it that well. 25%.
it probably
Who
wasn't.
knows? That could have been league average.
It probably wasn't a practice shot. You know what I mean? Like people
Right,
wasn't out there working on their 3 point shot. That was like a desperation, uh, 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 a hail mary, if you will, if you want to compare it to football. You know what I mean? Like that's probably what the 3 point shot was in the early stages. Like I'm down two and I'm trying to win, or I'm down three and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to tie, or I'm down five. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to come
Right,
back faster. With you know what I mean?
right,
Because there's not much time. So I think you're right. I think the 3 point shot was probably a low average shot
right,
for the first at least 10 years.
right, right. And Derek Harper, shout out to Dirty Dancer.
Mm.
He played more. He played 3 seasons, more than Rod Strickland. More. I mean, this was later on in his career. When he played with the Knicks, he was 32, 33, and 34. Um, but he averaged, 12 points a game, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 1.3 steals,
Defense,
and he was
defense,
just solid,
like
solid.
he was who I imagined Clyde was defensively because I didn't really everything I seen from Clyde was on paper, you know what I mean, or a couple of clips, but you got to see Derek and he had impact. He changed the game. He wasn't my favorite player. He wasn't my favorite point guard on those teams,
Hmm.
but his impact, he changed the game. Like you know what I mean. His
Right.
presence on the floor changed the game. I
I'm
ain't even gonna lie. I used to like
yeah,
Hubert
but
Davis.
I might have to put Derek over
Sparrow.
Felton.
Mm.
13 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, but he only shot 41% from the field. Talk about inefficient.
Mm.
33% from 3, but shot 80% from. This is tough.
And
Like,
he
this is one
shot
of them
and
things.
he hit big shots. He
Yeah,
may not
yeah,
have shot well, but he hit big shots.
yeah. This is one you should have sent me this list
It's all
last.
right. We gonna revisit this. This is just like the warm up. We'll revisit it and kind of just have the matter of fact. Let's open up the chat a little bit too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Drop the link.
Yeah,
Yeah, Harp, Pete, and those were important years. When Pat Riley went and got Derek Harper, those was the years we went
final.
to the finals.
Yep.
So I think I'm gonna have to move Derek up. And now I'm not saying we went to the finals just because of him, but he
No,
played a
no
big part in it.
impact. The impact.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah. Yes,
absolutely.
Kerry Cox, Rolando Blackman was a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers
Uh,
played for us as
Doc. Yeah,
well.
I like Doc too.
Harper over Jackson. I can't argue with you.
Mm.
I can't. Because it's so close depending on what your criteria is. Because Harper played, and let me tell you,
So
if you watch the Knicks during that time, those was knockout, drag out games. It wasn't easy.
so we moving Harper up to 5, top 5.
Who did I have? I had Felton, right? I think I had
Yes,
Felton 5. I might have to move Harp above Felton just because of the team he played on. He
I
played
ain't mad
more
at that.
seasons for the Knicks than Felton did. And Felton did play on a playoff team, but Harper played on a championship contending team.
And Felton was more successful, I think, during the course of the season than necessarily
In
when
the
it
playoffs.
got to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
his impact kind of diminished in the playoffs. Whether that was his own fault or whatever, I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing it out. Derek Harper, I remember his impact on the floor. You know what
I
I
was
mean?
happy when we got him. And the thing about it, he was in his 30s, but the Knicks were in a young spring chicken team anyway. So he fit right in. All right.
I thought he was old when we got him. You know what I mean? Like I
32 plus.
I mean, but I was turned off by it. Like so
Mhm.
that's even more impressive. That you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this old dude, what he gonna do? And then you see the impact. And I'm like, oh, it was like it felt like the old dude on the court that still got it. And you like, yo, how this old man doing this right now?
Right.
Oh, let's introduce the big homie, Mister J Boogie. Welcome.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you?
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You the opening guest for us. You know what I mean? I know you got that monarchy, the closer, but you're always the first one jumping in the chat with us, and we appreciate you, bro.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to y'all, great too, my brother and my sister. Shout out to everybody in the chat, rocking that orange and blue, representing yourself to the fullest, man. Blessings, health, and safe to everybody. I see y'all digging in the crates. You know what I'm saying? Y'all digging in some crates. Trying to figure some things out, huh?
Yes, he is.
We didn't even get to Brunson yet.
I
Even on
think
paper.
I think honestly with Brunson, we might not even put him on the list yet, and then we'll speculate at the end
Right.
how far he could move up that list.
Right.
Let's do
Let's
that.
do it that way.
We'll
Yeah.
do it that way.
I think I put him at my 10, and I think I wrote, he will surpass. I know he will pass 8 guys as as a
Wow.
great Knick, because he's going to spend more time and he's going to have a chance to do more things. Like Rod Strickland, he didn't even start, so I
Yeah.
just put Rod there because Rod deserves to be there. He's going to pass Roy Sparrow, all them guys. He's going to pass Jason Kidd, all them guys. We just talking about Knicks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That guy is getting ready to come in here and have an opportunity to do a lot of things. But I said 9, but I'm probably going to take it back. I don't think he will ever, in my opinion, I don't think he'll be able to. surpass Michael Ray, and I know he won't pass Clyde, even if he get a ring. He's just not, because after Clyde, finished playing, look at the things he's still doing, he's still doing inside the Knicks community, inside, broadcasting, always there for the Knicks. And it's sad how a lot of them guys only use them to their strength and their advantage, the game knowledge and understanding of the game. You know what I'm saying? But Brunson's going to do a lot of things. That's why I put him at number 10, and he's going to surpass a lot of them guys. Yeah. But
Nice.
when you talk about Mike, I seen Michael Ray play live. I seen Roy Sparrow play live. I seen these guys play live. And you got Luther Vandross. You got Marvin Gaye, you got Luther Vandross. But, Teddy is close to them guys, but not them guys, Teddy Pendergrass. That's what Michael Ray Richardson was like on the court. It was Teddy Pendergrass. You had to respect, sit down, and appreciate him. Besides the nonsense that he did off the court, the situations and stuff, when that man was on that court, one of the most respectful most respectful things I heard said about that man was from David Thompson. David Thompson, and he's one of the guys that they missed on that 75, was that's the one guy I can't stand that's in front of me. When you're talking about somebody that plays some D, I'm talking about play some D and happy. I never seen a dude play defense happy, laughing, smiling, getting in you, full court, long arms. And how he got to the rack, off the dribble, off the bounce, you know what I'm saying? It's just Michael Ray Richardson, man. When them lights came on in Madison Square Garden, that number 20 jersey lit up. It lit up. So I'm quite sure to get that number, Allen had to holler at that man to get that 20. He had to. But yeah, man. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of great situations at guard. Guys didn't stay long, have a chance, like they should have had, what I'm saying, to really further their career as a New York Knick. They went on and done other things. But those two guys are my two guys, that I seen. I just barely saw Clyde, but I saw Michael Ray.
Earl, I was gonna say, Earl, you don't consider him the point guard, like
The
on
Pearl?
the Knicks? Yeah.
The Pearl? Monroe?
Yeah.
Nah. He was a scorer. You know what I'm saying? And when he came here, and him and Clyde, they came to the understanding, it's better for me to go ahead and, facilitate, and you get buckets when we need buckets. You know what I'm saying? And Pearl took on that challenge like, give me the ball, baby, give me the ball, and smile at you. The big wide bed. My mom's was crazy about him. It's two guys my mom's used to love, man. It's Earl the Pearl Monroe and David Parker from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And she couldn't have neither one of them. So she picked the first guy that was a bus driver, my dad, with a wide beard, married. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot going on with our guards, but those guys right there, crazy. Now, if you want to get at me as something crazy, let's talk about the best Knick guards. I mean, not Knick guard, but New York guards in that top 5.
Well, we're gonna do that as well. Mm-hmm. But I wanted Queen to watch the documentary first. So when she see it,
she ain't seen it.
I ain't see it yet.
She ain't see it yet. So
after the show, I'll go and watch it. If I would have known,
yeah,
that he hit me with the topic yesterday, I would have watched it.
Well, I know you said you had a Rod Strickland story. Let me share one with you real quick.
Okay.
I had a great chance of making that same Gaucho roster. That roster was stacked. They had my man Greg Boo Harvey from Andrew Jackson. If you don't know who Greg Boo Harvey is, Greg Boo Harvey is the guy that goes baseline in the movie Coming to America and does the reverse layup. That's Greg Boo Harvey. He's still eating checks off that. Michael Jordan said that's the quickest little dude that ever been in front of me that I could not check. Greg Boo Harvey, you had Lloyd Daniels, and you had Rod Strickland. I'm trying to make this roster, and I had to pick between those two right there. Rod Strickland and Greg Boo Harvey. I tried Greg Boo Harvey and got killed and didn't make that team. That's true story. Didn't make that team, man. And Lloyd Daniels was on the up and up. He was 6'5", get ready to be 6'7" back then. But yeah, man. Queen, enjoy that show. Enjoy that show. That was a great thing Mark Jackson did. You know, you will like it, enjoy, but he got some more he got to add on to that. Yeah.
Was it
shout
Mark
out to
Jackson
Queen.
or was it Durant?
Huh?
That was Mark?
Nah, what that's Mark narrating. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
you know,
gotcha.
Yeah, that clown, he got his money in out, he got some money. I didn't even like that. They say he's a producer.
I ain't gonna lie. It's for the culture. I respect it. You know what I mean? Like, cause let's be honest. If he made that decision to come to the Garden, it'd be all praise due, right? You know what I mean? So let's respect it for the culture and what he's doing for the culture. Like at that point, I'll separate the Knicks thing and say, yo, you're doing a good thing for the city. You know what I mean? And shedding a light on what I think what has been a forgotten truth in New York City point guard and the history here. And it's something we gotta get back to.
On the low, I think that was his way of apologizing, telling I made a mistake, y'all. I'm gonna do this right here. I made a mistake. I ain't gonna put it in public, but I'm gonna do something that's gonna, hopefully y'all realize that. I realized that.
Yeah, he want that love from us. Yeah, I'll give him a little bit. You know what I mean? A little bit. I respect it.
But we gotta go ahead, Queen.
No, I was gonna say there's just some unheralded point guards as well that wouldn't make the top 10. But ones I forgot about, Greg Anthony, Chris Childs, like guys that wouldn't make the top 10. But they came in, they did their part.
I think Rod is the only
Doc Rivers
bench player that I got, on my list. Mm-hmm. See them guys, they came off the bench. You know what I mean? So, I try to really just like, as far as with me, just like look at guys that started.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, he came off the bench. And whoever else you just said, I think they came off the bench. But
where are we putting Linsanity on this list?
He wasn't even a point guard, was he?
I mean,
he played point.
He played point guard. Yeah. For us, he was. I gotta put him in the top 20. Like just off the top of my head. I mean, that
you got to put him in the top 15.
Top 15, then. I mean, just based off the impact of alone, you know what I mean?
And what was the impact? We didn't go to the playoffs. We didn't what was the impact? It was just a few exciting games. That just tells you where we are. That we're gonna put him in the top 15 because for 14 games or 15 games, he was on fire.
But you know what happened? He actually, for a short moment, he changed the narrative of the Knicks. Like we weren't the butt of the jokes. We weren't the laughing stock. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, they might have found somebody. Now, we didn't bring him back. You know what I mean? I think there was a lot of reasons behind that. Mm-hmm. But the impact of what he was doing on the court and like he affected winning. We weren't winning before he got his chance, right?
Yeah, I get it. But he played, let's just put it in context.
I get it.
He played only 35 games for the Knicks. I'm not even talking about he had a 35-game stretch. He only played 35 games for the Knicks. That means that stretch he had was within those 35 games.
Yeah. That's
Nah,
a fact.
I don't know if I could put him in the top 50. He didn't even play not one full season with the Knicks.
Hey,
Nah.
I'm just
I
giving
respect it,
my
though.
reason behind it.
I
You know what I
respect
mean? He impacted winning at in that stretch or in that 35 games at the very least. He impacted winning and he changed the narrative for a brief. Like it was a breath of fresh air because we had the the national media show and the content creators right on those so sports talk.
Mhm.
Back then, I wasn't trying to listen to the national media because of the narratives. Like it was a breath of fresh air. Like I could watch ESPN and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like they talking about a guy and what he's doing. And
15.6 assists during those 35 games. I mean, that's comparable to other guys, but it's just a
now,
small sample
here's
size.
the thing: there's a lot of nuances behind it, and this is also why I'm only comparing his time with the Knicks because you're talking about, and we've talked about this with R.J. Barrett. We've talked about this with some of the young guys. When you're not on that bulletin board, you know what I mean, and the other team is not game planning against you, and they not like saying, "All right, we gotta look out for this guy," and you get your opportunity. That's probably your best time to come out and catch him off guard. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. He caught the whole league by surprise, including the Knicks, because nobody knew who he was. You know what I mean? They didn't know what to game plan for.
Straight
And
off the couch.
it's like, who is this kid? So, and obviously, as time went on, the next season, they knew who he was. They looked at his tendencies. They studied, you know what I mean, what he likes to do, what he's not good at, and they game planned against him. And he was still decent after he left the Knicks, to be honest. So I think I think he's somewhere in there, and we're gonna revisit this, and he's gonna be on my list still. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, if there's 20 point guards, all right, maybe 18. I mean, for me, somebody mentioned Chris Duhon. He only played 2 seasons.
Mm.
Um,
He's another one that's high on my list.
7.2 assists. His first season with the Knicks, 5.6 assists. His second with the Knicks, 11 points. Then 7.4 points. Then he pretty much started 78 out of 79 games, and then 59 out of 67.
Yeah, he was the reason I'm tough on him. He was Marbury replacement. Like he was the guy that D'Antoni rocked with, and basically asked. He did Marbury dirty, but I don't want to get into the whole Knicks and bruises thing. I'm hitting these sore spots in my memories. Oh man.
Things is getting better though.
Oh,
I
for
believe
sure.
in Brunson. I believe in Brunson a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I think we could transition right into that, right? You know what I mean? Right now. We're gonna revisit this list. But Jay Boogie already said he got the opportunity to be in the top 3. I think that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
Let me just throw his list up again. So basically, Clyde, Michael Ray, and then Brunson.
Yeah.
If all plays works out well.
Now if he go get a chip, Michael Ray, where Michael Ray going.
I agree. I think it's gonna be. I mean, me personally, it's gonna be tough for him to surpass Marbury as well.
Nah.
I
if we
think
get
so.
a chip.
No. I'm just saying, just off of my projections, and looking at this list. Yeah, he win a chip. He right behind Clyde.
Right.
He get us 3. He might pass Clyde.
Right. The reason I
Well,
would say he could pass Marbury without getting the chip, if you're looking at stats, he might not ever do it because he's just not. Well, actually, he can score, but I don't know if his usage is going to be that high on the Knicks, especially if they bring in if Donovan. And even later on, if we have 2 stars, I'm not sure he's going to ever get that type of usage. But you don't have to have, you cannot score 20 points. You don't have to score 20 points a game to be dominant.
no, I
So
agree.
it is possible that he can pass Stephon
I love it.
without averaging as much as Stephon Marbury did.
I would love for him to do it. That's just how I feel about Marbury. You know what I mean? But if he could do it, I hope so. Because that means he's winning, and that's probably all it really takes for me.
Right. Because when Marbury was here,
we weren't winning.
No.
We weren't winning.
So that has to count for something.
Yeah, it does. Like I'm being honest. I'm biased in my stance with Marbury.
All right. Okay.
Like
all right.
I'll be honest. I don't sugarcoat nothing. But Marbury was my
had
guy.
everybody in Coney Island, right in front of the bumper cars. You went to the when you went to Coney Island back in the days. That's the first place you pull up on was the bumper cars.
Bumper cars.
Bumper cars, the music rocking, everything.
Yeah.
Bumper cars, because a lot of people were still scared of the cyclone and all that there. But the bumper cars, that was the hangout.
Yeah, I always was there with like some lady friends, and they always wanted to go to the carousel. Is that what that's called?
Mm-hmm.
The one that's vertical, and
Right.
And that roller coaster, the cyclone.
The cyclone.
Those were their 2 spots. Now, if I went with some fellas, bumper cars.
Hey, yo, I just wanted to come on and rock with y'all, man.
Appreciate
For a few minutes, man. That blue, that blue light came on. I just wanted to come on. I don't know why people don't, they still be hesitant to come up here, and a lot of guys, a lot of people going down in history as some of the great chat, sponsors it is, but we like to see you and hear what you're saying sometimes,
Put a face to the name.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Right.
Your mind, man. Yeah, put a face to the name, man.
Yeah, Sherwin, hop on, Sherwin.
Sherwin's a classical guy.
David L. Yeah, hop on. I would like to see guys' faces. And Pudge Nice, Kerry Cox.
That's right. David L.
Yeah, hop on. Harlem Girl. Kerry Cox, if I didn't mention him already.
Harlem on the rise.
Hey, real quick before I forget to, a shout out to Bowling Girl.
Yes, the bowling chick.
Shout out to Bowling Chick in case she's watching. She's a real nice person. Far as you seeing her live. You had a chance to rock with her. At the Charlotte and the Knicks game. Me, her, Fulio, one of my producers. You know what I'm saying, and we had a great time, laughing. She's a real, happy person. She's the type of person.
Yes,
if you're around her and you feeling down, you ain't got nothing else but to feel better than what you was before her. So, shout out, to the bowling chick. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And shout out to you as well, because
that's Step. She know your name.
Hi, how are you? Yeah.
That's Tony Crow. Say hey, Tony Crow.
Hi, Tony Crow.
How you doing today? Appreciate you joining.
I told her the other day. I said, "Yo, your daddy spit bars. I don't know nothing about that mumble rap. You need to stop that mumble talk." But I don't understand that.
Hey, put her on the track. You might have a platinum artist right there.
Right.
Hey, you be amazed what she can make beats and everything.
Okay.
I can't even take her in the studio with me. She takes over. I can't get nothing done.
You got to book her some. Give her own studio time. Let her rock out.
You right. You right. That's what's up. We'll go ahead and jump off, man. Y'all have a blessed
Appreciate you.
evening,
All
man.
right,
No
appreciate
doubt.
Salute.
All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Jay Boogie. Always great to hear from you. More than
Oh, no
Rose
doubt.
or Burks that came up.
Who was Eldridge?
I'm not familiar.
Maybe he's talking about
Alfred.
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 Okay.
Yeah, Alfred.
Yeah.
Alfred. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And you know what? Somebody in the chat, I'm sorry I didn't catch who it was, but they
Mhm.
said the shooting guard list will be tough too.
That would
So
be tough.
maybe we'll do the shooting guard next week,
Right.
or you know what I
Right.
mean. But we'll schedule it so we could both prepare for it a little
Right.
bit better. But I thought it was still a nice little conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pete, we
Kill
talked
some
about
time
Michael
in
Ray.
a dead week.
Definitely.
Who else we got out there though?
Yeah.
Let's
Pete was
see.
asking about Michael Ray. But we talked about him.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go do some research because I wasn't too familiar with his game, but everything I'm hearing from the chat and J Boog
Oh,
and
no.
stuff about him.
He's talking about Ray Williams. Right.
Oh,
Right. Not Michael Ray. Ray Williams, who played for the Knicks for 4 seasons.
in what year?
77, 78
Yeah,
to 80, 81. So he was right before I started watching the Knicks. And you're right. You know, he was a point like 17.6 assists,
mm.
20.6 assists, another 20 points, 4 assists. Yeah, Ray Williams. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, this just
Man. I gotta do some history. Get some. I mean, it's nice. I'm getting some history lessons right now because
right.
you know I was born in '78, so
Right.
I was too young to comprehend any of that up
Right.
until about '88. That's when I really started watching every game and things of that nature.
Right. And then he came back for one more season, 83, 84. That's when I remember seeing him.
Okay.
83, 84. That's when I remember seeing him. 15.6 assists, 2 steals, 3.5 rebounds.
Sound like the other dude.
Yeah. 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 Shout out to Pete. I got it mixed up with Michael Ray Richardson. Yeah.
Jarrett Jack in his prime.
Jared Jack.
Mm.
But did he play with us in his
No,
prime?
he's saying if we got him in his prime,
Oh,
it
okay.
would have been something else. I'm not familiar with his prime. I'm only familiar with the Knicks and bruises and him being a
Right.
mentor.
Wow. You thought Raymond Felton was the best? Wow. When you started watching basketball, The Public Enemy, the Knicks, I mean, because I could see if you started watching the Knicks around the Carmelo Anthony time, I could see how you would say that because I liked what Raymond Felton did for us.
Especially before the Carmelo trade.
Yeah.
I mean, the first stint.
Yeah.
And I ain't even gonna lie. That first stint, Felton was looking like an all-star.
He was. He
He
was.
was looking like the best point guard we had since ... You, like
Yeah.
and part of that was the chemistry he had with Stoudemire.
Right.
Like part of that, like it wasn't no how's this gonna work? You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
they almost their games. Now he wasn't Steve Nash, obviously,
Right.
but it looked like their games was tailor made for each other. Oh, I got somebody I can run the pick and roll with. That's all. You know what I mean? That's all I need to show
Right.
my best abilities.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not hating on Felton. I liked when him and Amari Stoudemire together. I really liked that duo.
Oh, he's a Tar Heels fan. Fair enough. That makes sense. You got to watch him in college and study his game.
And Alton Lee thinks Brunson is Felton with a 3-point shot.
Mm,
I think Brunson
I'm
is
trying to.
better
I,
all around. They both solid and steady in terms of being able to manage and lead a team for sure.
that footwork separates him. That footwork and that 3-point shot, I guess, but that footwork separates him from a lot of players. Like you could go outside of former Knicks.
Because when he
That,
go in the lane, you think they got him. You be like, oh, he's stuck now. And
mm-hmm.
he do some, I don't even know
and
what he's
and
doing.
I think that's where his advantage lies, because I think the defender thinks, "Oh, I got him now."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And now he start Akeem Olajuwon and the big man jumping all over the place.
And you notice he has the fadeaway on his shot. That's how he gets his separation. You know, he'll turn around and then he'll fade away off that 1 foot sometimes, get his separation, and he has a nice soft touch.
Yeah,
So.
I'm looking forward to Brunson showing where he can rank. Are you as do you agree with Jay Boog that he could reach as high as 3?
Yeah, he can. He can. I
I
mean,
mean,
I would like to
obviously
see
with the
him
chip
sign again, a second contract.
contract, yeah,
Yeah, I would like that.
yeah. All right, I got a question for you. I mean, we could kind of wrap it up in a bit, but how what do you think it would take to lead for him to end up signing that second contract? And I'm gonna say, like, for him, what is he gonna have to kind of do for the team to go ahead and do that, and then vice versa? You know, what is the team gonna have to be like if it's playoffs these 4 years, but let's
Yeah,
say no more than second round? Do you,
right.
do you think he wants to continue to run, and do you think the Knicks want to continue to run?
I think somebody coming at you though. Let me just put that up real quick.
Oh,
No, not that way. Not that way. I don't think Marbury was overrated though.
he's underrated in
Yeah.
my opinion. Underrated, under talked about. But
Yeah. And we got him in his prime. We got him in his prime, which doesn't happen for us. Well, I mean, I think we might have got Stoudemire in his prime too. So he just had that injury history. But I think, to answer your question, I think if we're making strides, he'll resign. I think if it's 4 bumpy years, they're not putting a team around them. We getting bounced every year in the first round. The front office doesn't seem to be trying. They're okay with the team that we have, even though it's not winning more games or advancing in the playoffs. I think he just moves. I think he's just dissatisfied. Like, I'm not going to stay here with the same team. The front office doesn't seem to be putting players, around me. But I think if the front office stays invested in the team, and I believe this front office would, and they continue to build, and if something doesn't work, they bringing in new people and they're trying, I think he resigns.
there we go.
The rebuttal.
I appreciate it. No, I agree. What I'm thinking, all right, is I'm gonna have to do some research because I'm wondering
Compliment Sherwin.
a couple of things. How where does his contract rank amongst the elite point guards in
14.
the league right now?
I don't know about elite, but he's the 14th rank.
14th highest paid.
Yeah.
Do you think All right, where would we have to be for him to get an extension? And based off the extension, I would assume that means a raise.
I
Maybe
think
the
the same. I think the same because it's two ways. Like we're talking about, what would the team need to do for Brunson to resign, but what does Brunson have to do for the Knicks to re-sign him? And offer him an extension. And I think a front office is smart enough to see, you know, um, even if the Knicks don't go to the championship or Eastern Conference Finals or whatever, I think they're smart enough to see the role that he played in it. But I'm not even sure Brunson finishes the contract because you got to think about it. You're gonna need another star. Now, if Randall becomes that, if RJ becomes that, and they're already on the team, perfect. But if they don't, and another star becomes available, and just say you have Donovan Mitchell, and a star becomes available, somebody's gonna have to go.
yeah.
And for me, I would want to hold Brunson back because you're gonna still need a solid leader and point guard. So he's not somebody that I would want to put in the trade, but it's possible.
And it also depends on what position this star comes at. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think that's important. Like, even though I doubt it coming from the guard position, I think more than likely it comes from the wing position. That's the
Mhm.
way the league is kind of trending. But all it really takes is a guard to lead a team to the championship, and then the league kind of follows suits.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
had the Suns been successful in their run last year or the year before, um, I could see the direction of the league start. Everybody start. Oh, we need a point guard like Chris Paul, somebody who's gonna manage the team, hit the big shots. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna score 30, 35. He can, but he ain't gonna average. You know what I mean? He's not gonna average
Mhm.
that. So I think all it really takes is for one guy to kind of break the cycle, and
Mhm.
then the league looks at it and follows suit. Slowly but surely, a couple teams start trying to find this next Paul or Chris Paul or whomever it is. So if by chance Brunson leads us to the finals, or leads us to a chip with the roster constructed the way it is, and
Mhm.
he's the leader, then I think people acknowledge that throughout the league. General managers look at that and say, "Oh, it doesn't have to be a wing.
Right.
It could be a guard that leads us." But we're a long ways from there. Looking forward to seeing what he can do for us this coming season and beyond. Um, Anything you want to end the show with?
Good show. I kind of like, you know, August, because now we get a chance to do things like this. We can rank shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, centers, we get an opportunity to kind of just relax and do some alternate content, if you will. So this was a great idea.
You know what the funny thing is, like, as we go on with this, I guess we could call it a little series.
Mhm.
It's gonna get more and more heated. I think the point guard was the easiest one, even though, like, we didn't kind of have a consensus list or anything like that, and we'll revisit
Right,
this. But I think the point guard is the easiest
right,
to kind of rate and find anything close to a consensus.
right,
You know what I mean? I think as we go on, a lot of people are gonna have a lot of different views as far as who was
right.
top.
That small
Top,
forward,
yeah, small
Carmelo
forward.
Anthony, number one. What?
Yeah, we might have to get Josh in here and
Right,
make it a controversial crossover
right,
because
right, right.
it's gonna get crazy. I can see it now. I can see it now. But yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate you, Queen, as always. You
Appreciate
know,
the chat.
appreciate the chat as always as well. As you always point out, uh, your tag phrase to Sim. I'll let you say it because I ain't
Forever
trying to steal
grateful.
it. But yes, we are.
Forever grateful.
Shout out to Sim. And yeah, man, we'll see y'all next week with
Yep.
Knicks and Bruises, Queen's
Yep.
Court,
Queen's Court
Dope
Monday.
Soul Sports Talk. Oh, um, you got a subscriber today, right? By the name of James. I don't know
Oh, I didn't. I didn't
if you
even.
noticed it or not, but that's my homie. You know what I mean? I was putting him onto the shows, and he was already watching me, and watching us here. You know what I mean? But I told him, I was like, yo, you know she got her own channel, so
I appreciate
I
it.
watched him subscribe. So he's probably gonna be in the comments, or I see him every day when I go to work. He shops at my job, so he'll probably be telling me, Queen said this, and that, or you know what I mean. I agree with this and that. So
Yeah.
I'll
I gotta
send you
get some cards or something made up because you meet people, or we can do those like you said, the
QR codes.
the QR code and just have it on your phone.
Yep.
And then when you meet somebody, be like,
Speaking of which, I finally did what I told you about. So with the Ubers, so
Okay.
I asked them if they interested, and you know what I mean.
Awesome.
They looking at the content. So
Awesome. We got one super chat before we get out of here.
oh, good. Here we go. Love you guys. Big L. Go ahead. You want to read it?
Sure. Shout out to Big L. Appreciate the super chat. Love you guys. I think Brunson is great for Randall and RJ. If we don't do DM, Donovan Mitchell, the second unit is stout. We need to see what this team can do. Listen, I'm not mad. I don't know about need to see it, but if we can't get it done and we have to rock with this team, I'm okay.
Yeah, and it's not a super chat, but I do want to highlight one particular comment from Mr.
Appreciate you,
Craig.
Greg.
Appreciate you, man, because I know sometimes you don't agree with none of us. So
that if you ain't on point, he gonna let you know.
No, I know, but I'd rather get the hearts than the tomatoes any day. So I appreciate you. Oh, Doug Chapman. Oh, still Knicks fans. Harlem Girl. Geraldine. David L. All you guys.
Adele Chapman.
Appreciate
Anna
you.
Grill 1. I don't know if that's somebody new. If so, welcome.
Yes.
Illmatics.
Your blackest time.
Yeah. See you guys.
But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate you, and we out.
We out.